What's up, guys? Scotty here with Woolball for Soup, and welcome to the very first paintball beef history video. Now, many of you have been asking, why does Big Sexy PB, why hasn't he been a part of any of HK Army's marketing, any of their videos on Instagram or TikTok? He was a social media juggernaut, and when he teamed up with Marky at HK Army, they created some hilarious and viral videos promoting paintball. Now, I'm not going to use this video as, I'm going to judge their content, because some of their content was unsafe at the worst. I'm trying to step it up into big J journalism. So this video, everything that comes from me is on the record from Big Sexy. So there's an hour-long interview that I turned into a transcript that I'm using to put in the facts so everybody knows what really went down. And this is bigger than just two men. This is businesses, this is marketing, and this is some behind-the-scenes stuff that nobody else is going to talk about, because this is not an industry-friendly video, this is not an industry-friendly channel, and I will never sell out.
There you go. Motherfucker, I said, hey, what the
Big Sexy got access to the HK Army compound because of his relationship with Oz, who's a manager of Paintball Gateway, as well as the owner of the Narcos paintball team. So Oz got him in contact with HK to help out around the warehouse, to unload after events, to take inventory, help with shipping, that type of entry-level stuff. And during this period of time, Sexy really didn't need the money. He had like 6 months worth of paid time off that had accumulated throughout his career. So he's not working, but getting paid as if he's working. So he figures he loves paintball. Why not hang out at HK and get paid while doing it? As I was doing the background research for this video, I found out something really interesting about the ownership structure of HK and Paintball Gateway. This is going to come into play because these guys later down the road are a huge reason why this beef has happened. So Josh Myers is a part owner of HK, and he also owns 2 Paintball Gateway locations. So at this point in the story, Big Sexy is playing on the Narcos, which is a factory team for both HK and Paintball Gateway. So that's how Big Sexy was able to use those relationships with his team to get into the industry and start working at HK's headquarters. The beef started when Big Sexy was working warehouse operations for HK, and he was told to throw out a box of 20 HK Army speed loaders. Now, these loaders got returned, they're defects, they're customer products that didn't exactly work out, and they got sent back to the headquarters. Sexy sees this box of loaders, and he's like, if I'm just gonna throw them out, like HK doesn't even need them, so how about I take them home, assemble them, and get them out to players on the low. To be totally honest with you, I didn't even tell Sexy this. I actually bought one of those HK speed loaders from Sexy. So I inadvertently inserted myself into the story way back as this stuff was going down. If Sexy is selling loaders to people and they think that it's coming from HK, they're going to expect warranty support, they're going to expect the products to work, and these are products that were already deemed defective and should have been thrown out, and Sexy is selling them and getting them back into the public. So this upset management at HK. They accused him of stealing, they accused him of being dishonest, but going back to Sexy has about 6 months of paid time off. So he's getting paid as if he's working his normal job. He's really not doing it for money, and this product was supposed to be destroyed. So it's not like a financial loss, it's not like stealing, but it wasn't exactly honest. Going back to the notes I took on this, there were 20 loaders. He assembled and sold 10 of them. And he even offered to bring back the other 10. Just, hey HK, if you guys are upset, I'm sorry you said to throw them out. Here's the 10 I have left, let's just destroy them. This part of the story is going to have to be heavily censored. It gets a little too personal, and some of the things that were revealed here, I'm not comfortable with going public with, because it's too personal between Sexy and Marky. Now, Sexy and Marky developed a great relationship, making content together, having fun while at the warehouse, and they became really good friends. And as friends do what friends do, they go to Vegas together. Now, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but HK corporate, HK management was mad at Sexy for taking Marky to Vegas during the work week. So Sexy and Marky are on a road trip to Vegas together. Sexy's in the driver's seat. It's a random spur-of-the-moment thing. And something bad happens to Marky in Vegas. Now, HK management is upset with Sexy for taking Marky to Vegas and for having this bad thing happen to him. And obviously what that bad thing is, I will not reveal that. That's way too personal. But they blamed SEGGSY for taking Marky to Vegas. Both of them are grown-ass men. SEGGSY's like 40, Marky's like early mid-30s, and he's old enough to make his own decisions if he wants to go to Vegas. So I don't see how this is even fair to SEGGSY, because they're both grown-ass men. Like, yeah, I guess something bad did happen in Vegas to Marky, but SEGGSY really didn't have anything to do with it beyond arranging the trip and driving Marky to Vegas. That's all I'm going to say on this part. It's just way too personal for me to go any further. So let's get right into the business side of it.
New colorways for the Lux A51.
A51 new Splash colors available now. Sexy, let's see if you can shoot this.
We're going to do an accuracy test.
Right here, out here. Remember that? 3, 2.
Oh my God, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
Betrayal.
Because of the loader situation, the Vegas trip, and the global situation involving a word you're not allowed to say on YouTube, Big SEGGSY was laid off from HK Army. Despite not being an HK employee at this period of time, he would drive to the HK headquarters to link up with Marky, collab, make some content for Instagram and TikTok, and they were still having fun. They were still really good friends at this point. Now is a good time to introduce another major player into this beef. We have Paul from Matrix Gear, who met Big SEGGSY at a Narcos practice and quickly strung up a friendship together. These two ended up really hitting it off in terms of being the same age, loving paintball, having aspirations to grow the sport, get into the business side of it. And as SEGGSY is laid off from HK, he's not getting paid by HK at this point in time. He kind of sees another opportunity to make another friend in the industry. So if he never gets rehired by HK, he'll have a path with Paul from Matrix Gear. When the two linked up, SEGGSY did not know that Paul intended to open a brick-and-mortar physical store in California for Matrix Gear. SEGGSY was just like, yo, this guy loves paintball, he's got a really good thing going with his online BST, he can be a great friend, and I want to work with him. I want to travel with him to Bunkerfest, to work the Matrix Gear trailer, and do BST at the event. Now, this got back to HK, and SEGGSY confirmed that people higher up in HK reached out to SEGGSY and his friends, saying that SEGGSY is switching sides. He's betraying HK. He's turning his back on the company that put him on. If I had to pick a moment where things went from kinda icy to straight up beef between Big SEGGSY and HK, it had to be when Big SEGGSY was traveling with Paul from Matrix Gear all the way to Florida in a car. SEGGSY likes these big cross-country road trips, doesn't he? So he's traveling with Paul to Florida to buy a trailer for Matrix Gear, an event trailer where they set it up and they do BST at the events, a big production. So he's traveling with Paul to share the driving responsibilities all the way to Florida. And SEGGSY flies back from Florida to California intending to play an event, a small event, an ASG tournament with Narcos D5. SEGGSY spent money out of his own pocket to return to California to play with the Narcos, only to be told by the owner of the Narcos that his services are no longer needed with the team. This is because of a major conflict between Paul at Matrix Gear and the ownership of PB Gateway, which also happens to be the ownership of HK. Remember that Josh Myers owns 2 Paintball Gateway locations, as well as being a part owner of HK. Oz, who's the captain of the Narcos, who's also a manager at a Paintball Gateway location, has a great relationship with HK. Now, Big SEGGSY is playing on an HK and PB Gateway team, but yet he's helping out Paul at Matrix Gear. The beef between Paul and Gateway stems from the location of where Paul decided to open up his brick-and-mortar store. Paul came after Paintball Gateway. His store opened up after Paintball Gateway has been established. Now, the Gateway delegation is furious with Paul because his brick-and-mortar location is 10 miles from the nearest Paintball Gateway. And I know paintball is a small community, and Paintball Gateway feels so threatened by Paul. And this is breaking news. Nobody else is going to have this story, have this level of insight into this beef. Paintball Gateway had taken things so far, they had gone to Planet Eclipse to blacklist Matrix Gear. You got that right. Because the location of Matrix Gear is so close to Paintball Gateway, Matrix Gear is unavailable to get markers factory direct from Planet Eclipse. I'm going to kick it on over to you guys who are still rocking with me late into this video. Is 10 miles too close to open up a shop near another shop? SEGGSY was saying that you have to get on the highway to actually get from one to the other. But I understand from the gateway perspective that it's a little disrespectful to open up a shop within, I don't know, a 15-20 minute distance. I'm going to kick it to you guys. What do you think? Is it wrong for Matrix Gear to open up so close to a competitor in an industry that's so small?
FBI, open up! Box. This thing is sick.
Who's
Yo,
that?
We're filming.
Who's that?
Hey, we're filming.
Yo,
SEGGSY.
yo,
What are you doing? SEGGSY.
Yo, run, Mark, run!
FBI, open up!
Because Big SEGGSY was materially supporting one of Paintball Gateway's biggest competitors, and his current team was sponsored by Paintball Gateway, the pressure was on, and threats were made from HK to the Narcos that if Big SEGGSY continued to be affiliated with the team, the sponsorship with HK for the Narcos would be pulled. Now, this imploded within the Narcos camp, as many of the Narcos left with Big SEGGSY to form the Heavy Hitters, who are a Matrix Gear team. Big SEGGSY is still getting a high-level sponsorship deal, just as good or if not better than what he was getting with HK. So I guess it worked out for everybody, but as it stands, it's very unlikely that you're going to see Big SEGGSY and Marky making content together like they once did. That era is over, and you know what? There's nothing wrong with moving on. I've had to do that too. A change in my group of friends, a change in my sponsors. You know what? You're always moving on, meeting new people, and pushing forward. I'm sorry I haven't been as consistent as I once was with this channel. I'm really focused at this point in my life in establishing myself in a career outside of paintball and using everything I went to school for in the workplace. But I will always come back to paintball. I am in this scene for the rest of my life. I love it so much. I wish we can do this more often. But for now, this is Scotty with Will Ball for Soup, signing out, giving you guys some beef on the menu this Thanksgiving.
Marky, what the hell is that?
Hey, never shoot me again, boy!